the best tone slash distortion controlling device that you have available to you comes on every single guitar, or at least every single electric guitar that I'm aware of: the volume control. If you haven't delved into the joys and wonders of the volume knob on your guitar, then you are really in for a treat. You should really start checking it out. Eddie Van Halen, on his guitar, on his Frankenstrat that had one knob, it was actually labeled tone, because that's what he mostly used it for. So there you go. But anyway, what I have is I have a distorted guitar sound, and what that does is it compresses the sound a little bit, the volumes. So it does keep the volumes a little more consistent. You know, if I had a clean setup, then you would hear a lot more, you know, in the way of volume changes as I play with the volume knob. But this, you know, helps to illustrate the tone shaping capabilities of your volume control. So I have my main guitar, an old Seymour Duncan JB4, vintage. Volume and tone, and, you know, pickup selector. I'm just going to leave it on the bridge pickup, and the tone control I'm just going to leave all the way up. I do have the capacitor on the tone control, you know, in the spirit of transparency. The capacitor on my tone control is a little smaller than a normal capacitor, because I didn't want it to roll off quite as much, so that when I turn it all the way down, it's still, to me, a usable tone. The normal tone control capacitor, when you roll it down, it's just too muddy for me. So, you know, but all the way up on the tone control, it's going to be really negligible as far as, you know, changing the tone, the capacitor that I use. On the volume control, I do have a treble bleed, I think a network. It's just a resistor. A lot of times you can just put a resistor to take care of it. I have a resistor and a capacitor, and, you know, I don't know, I probably years and years and years ago, I saw it on Seymour Duncan website or something, and, you know, I know for a fact it was Seymour Duncan website, and I used, you know, whatever they were recommending, and I think I tweaked it a tiny bit so that as I turn down, the tone doesn't stay consistent. That's what the treble bleed thing is all about. What you do is, you know, you have the volume all the way up, you have a certain tone. As you turn it down, you start to lose some high ends. So the treble bleed lets a little bit of high end through. So as you turn the volume down, your tone stays consistent. The amount of distortion changes, you know, which sort of changes your tone too. But I have it so that as I turn down, it actually gets, it retains a little more high end. So, you know, that's the sound that I wanted, almost sort of, I don't want to say verging into Strat territory, but, you know, a little more, a little less of a humbucker kind of a tone, and a little bit brighter and a little bit thinner. So anyway, so that's what I have on mine. So that does affect, you know, as I turn the volume control down. So, and I'm playing through a Fender Frontman 25R. Just the amps that we have here at Band Gig School of Music in Dedham. There's a free, shameless plug. Band Gig School of Music in Dedham, and also have a noted location. So if any of you guys are watching it are, you know, local, check us out. So I'm going to play a little bit. I'm going to play first all the way on 10, you know, so you can just hear what it's like. So that's the sound that I'm, you know, going with. And it's very hot and humid today. So I'm going to play on 10, and then I'm going to play on 8, 6, 4, and kind of work my way down. And I'm going to play somewhat right around the same stuff, so you can hopefully hear, you know, how it changes. Now 8. definitely a change there. Down to 6. So again, a change there. Down to 4. So as you can hear, the volume stays fairly consistent. The distortion is getting less and less, and the tone of the guitar is changing. So now turn it down to about 2. So again, the volume's fairly consistent. You know, it is a bit quieter there, but you know, then all the way up 10. So now down to about 2, or actually, sorry, a little less than 2. So that's like on a half. So that's about as low as I can get it before it really just starts to be fading out. So now I'll just play a little bit and sort of go up incrementally, and you'll hear as the volume goes up now. Volume control goes up. So you can definitely hear it there. I could at least, you know, getting obviously more and more distorted, but fatter and thicker and rounder. Definitely a huge tonal change. So play around with your volume control. It is invaluable. And definitely, you know, while you're playing, you can, you know, not only just set it for different sounds and stuff. You know, a lot of times for like verses, I roll it down to about, you know, 6 or 8, and then, you know, for choruses, you know, kick back up, whatever. But even just while you're, you know, playing, while you're improvising, all of that stuff, because, you know, people don't talk like all, you know, monotone, like a robot, you know, all the same volume, all the same tone, all the same everything. So, you know, as you're playing, you're working on your phrasing and stuff, but you can now add volume control, you know, tone control, you know, all of these things, the changes, distortion and everything, to what you're playing to really kind of step up now to the next level. So, you know, I'll play a little bit and show you what So as you can see, you know, I was adjusting as I was doing it. I turned it down a bit when I did that. Sort of like, you know, like a faux country kind of a bendy thing, you know, because I wanted to accentuate the sort of sharp twanginess of that. And then when I did like double stop, I want to accentuate the fat sound of that, so I turn the volume all the way up. So, you know, definitely use it as just another tool, another element to your playing, and I promise you won't be sorry. So, hope this helps somebody to become a better musician.